If you want to peruse the all parish meetings minutes from last year, it's probably on the first page of the thing stapled together. And just go ahead and look through those other things as well. We come time to say we'll approve it. That way you've at least read it. If you want to discuss anything that's on there, then we'll discuss it. But you can do it instead of us reading everything on there. That would be helpful. Of course, Elijah doesn't have one in front of him, so.
Elijah just actually, he's present, he's watching.
Should I read it? Who else on this?
We could just email it to Elijah. Is there anyone else on there?
I don't think so. Well, there's a way of knowing for the YouTube thing. We don't have Zoom, so.
It shows one person watching on YouTube right now.
That would be Elijah. So, if you're watching, you have a machine. No. Electronic.
There's a bad piece there. It's the right option. Not easily accessible, but I can.
Can you forward it on there? Since I'm recording too. Can you forward an email to Elijah?
Like right now or after?
We won't have to look at it. What's going on?
Let's see here. I'm lucky.
Oh, no, Alex.
Sign there.
You don't know how to do that. You decided.
Well, I just popped it on there and I was like, well, I'm not interested in this.
On the new business, adult business, I've got copies if you want everything. Yeah, it's very good.
Is this your first time? No. I'm sorry.
Your last, it's a Z instead of an S. You know, after all this time, you think
I got documents, my name's got multiple ways.
I have done all of it.
No, not you, on the company.
When you were on the board, you were
From university, some would ask,
what is on your birth certificate? Okay, well, that's I have a Z, so I I've never yeah,
self-software.
So they never took his hand. So, now we always have our crews in.
All right. Now we're all seated, we stand and say a prayer. Start our official business here. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, thank you for your loving kindness and your mercy. Thank you for the St. Thomas Parish. We pray, Lord, your continued blessing upon the church. And we pray, Lord, for this time that we have together to discuss the business of the church. It may not just be something that I don't really care. May we be engaged in knowing what's going on and what the needs are, etc. And may our thoughts, words, and actions be pleasing in your sight. For your good, we send a glory to you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Some corrections here,
Okay.
and so we need to approval.
We have some
I have one question. Vacation, but instead of vacation.
vacation. It's supposed to be kids are on vacation from school. Yeah. It's more of a Protestant than an Orthodox thing, but there are Orthodox churches that have vacation. That's where it's going.
All right, then call this to order.
Yes.
We'll call this meeting to order. We have 25 members present and at least one on Zoom. And that makes a quorum.
Is it the finance part?
I think we
We
approved last year's minutes. We have to kind of go down this one, we can't go too long.
Yeah, last year we opened in prayer and
Do we need to read them then?
No, we had it.
okay.
We're reading, no, you're gonna call to see if there's
Oh, do we need to,
Does anybody, are there any questions about last year's minutes? Do we have a motion to approve? All right. Does anyone second?
I'll second.
All right.
all in favor?
Aye. David, was that you seconding
Okay, my report, we received, David, Baylor, and, Matthew, and, Michael Spangler into the church, I believe in July of this last year. And then, we received as catechumens, Michael and Nancy, somewhere shortly after we received them into the faithful, received the previous mention into the faithful. And then we did a wedding for Jacob and Jessica, Jacob Williams and Jessica in October at St. George in Indianapolis. And then the reception was at where Jim and his wife Lauren live. Was the reception for that wedding. And then we had an All-American conference that Eric and I went to in Phoenix. It was really hot. It had to be sometime in July or August. Anyways, it was really, really hot. I mean, the coolest day there was 102. So, I think the warmest day was like 115 or 120 or something. It was, and just to go from where we were lodging over to where they were having meetings, I mean, it was brutal. I can't imagine wanting to live there, but it was really nice in the winter. Yeah, it was nice in the winter. We went to Gary and Terry's home in Tucson, Arizona, and had a meal with them and spent some time with them and her mom, and it was a very, very pleasant time together. I can let you, if you want to comment on any of the items that we approved or whatever. One of the things that was impressive impressive to me was, they have an icon for all saints of North America, from like the OCA's perspective or whatever. And Saint Olga had been received as a saint, I think in June, but they already had someone commissioned to write the icon. And so at the conference, All American, they had that set up, and then they also had icons of Saint Olga, and then there were several places where you can pick up smaller icons of Saint Olga from Alaska. And we had, I think, 2 divine liturgies while we were there, and they didn't have anything close to the hotel. Thank goodness we rented a car. I mean, the closest thing that you could walk to was probably a half-mile away, and there were people that were complaining that if they got breakfast there, they had like toast with artichoke dip or something with it. And they were charging like $25 for it. It was crazy. So we ate several meals at Denny's. But there's nothing else after Denny's.
You feed both of us for the price of that avocado toast.
Exactly. And I don't know that there's anything else. I mean, we had our harvest party, and that went very well. David Baylor and his family did some bluegrass music, and Jay Ford and his aunt did some go hill kind of dancing or whatever. Is that called? Clogging? Clogging, okay. And it was very nice. And we had the bounce house. All the kids really enjoyed the bounce house. And the adults enjoyed it. It was a halfway decent day. I mean, and we had gotten approval to light a fire out there. And Arlen brought plenty of straw, not to throw in the fire, but to sit on around the fire or whatever. So it was a nice day.
Say while we were in Phoenix, we also did our Midwest. Diocese of the Midwest meeting, since we were all there anyway.
Yeah, it keeps the cost down as opposed to driving someplace in October. So, yeah. Any questions of me before we go on to other reports? Eric has a bunch of things that we did, building wise, et cetera, whatever.
Move on to treasurer's report.
Yeah, treasure report.
All right, hopefully everybody has a copy of this sheet that's up here. Basically, the front of it is just an overview, and on the back is a complete breakdown of the budget. The simplest way to look at it is the proposed budget for next year is the same as this year, with a few modifications. The modifications being, there's what we budget for insurance went up by a couple $100 just to match the rates. The assessments will be paid for the dioceses. Yep, that's a set percentage, so that went up a little bit. And the major thing that went up is we are budgeting an extra $5,000 that we normally do to put into the future priest savings fund, just to kind of ramp that up. So it's not like we're buying anything, it's still our money. We're just dedicating an extra $5,000 to the future priest savings fund. And the an extra $100 to the electricity, because we have a Duke light that's in the back there they're providing now. And the missions and outreach We're proposing an extra $1,800 this year. To what? We haven't figured that out, but it feels like we should, it's the size of our budget, we should be, giving, helping the community. So if anybody has any ideas about any local community or charitable giving that we can help with, the board would be happy, because we're looking to increase our service there.
That's in the Pettit Park, and we've got an outreach committee. If you want to be on the outreach committee, let mom know. And so we're gonna increase what we're doing there.
And the other thing is the 2.8% cost of living for father. And as for the, what I think is exciting, and I can't take much credit for it because I'm just here, I haven't played with it, but our Edward Jones account, our investments, we did a 15.99% annualized interest, so we made $22,000 this year. I can't really take credit for something like Ben and Lucas started before my time, but it's, well, it might be a bit, but it's trucking along and it's doing fantastic. So that was, I can't take much credit, but it is good results. So that's kind of the win overall, I think. One other change that we did, instead of having a bunch of, I wouldn't say a bunch, a lot of the money sitting in a checking account making less interest, a portion of that is into 30-day CD, which is like our current rate is 3.5%. So it's just 30 days and you get your interest and just rinses and repeats. And it's better than just letting it sit in the same checking account, and if there's an emergency, well, the money's not tied up too hard anywhere, right? So we can still get at that, but let that money work for us. So that's overall, I think we're doing pretty well. We were able to save the $5,000 last year, or $25,000, into the Future Priests savings fund. As well, we operated with a little over $3,000 in surplus. So I think we're on the right track, and the investments are doing well. And on wood.
Just a quick question. It says drops down to 0. Is that the issue?
Well, that's because we switched. Cayenne actually donates the internet. She pays for the Verizon, so we don't actually have to budget anything, but just because it's being donated. And so, but yeah, if Cayenne were to bail, we'd have to start paying for that. But the budget is more for like a, what do we expect to come out of the account? So, but yeah, that is one of the.
Hopefully she gives us heads up.
Right.
It's like pulling teeth to cancel AT&T.
It was.
We had to get Glenn involved, and he went to someplace down in Florida.
The word, I kept asking me when we were moving things, what's your favorite hero?
Yeah.
And then finally we figured out it was
Jesus
Jesus Christ.
Christ.
Right, and so, yeah, we did, I'm not sure if that was this year, but maybe it was in the first few months that was a challenge. AT&T, they were charging us $120 a month for less service than we're getting with that T-Mobile, which is like $50 a month, that 60. So even though it's half, even if we were to pick it back up, we'd still be saving money. So yeah, they not a big fan. Not a big fan.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Do you think because of the winter that we're having, that we have enough budgeted for the gas bill?
I so far, I have it, whatever we budgeted, I kind of followed the historical trend and kept that on, and it seems to be tracking. So
we've had 2 years of mild winters, and this one's hitting pretty hard.
Yeah.
To your point, Carmen, I read that the gas is up 70% because of the demand versus supply. So it's not just the amount of hours heated, it's the gas prices.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, we'll have to track that, and we do track, so maybe like halfway throughout the year, we may see that we're over budget there, and have to account for that, but yeah, I didn't try to predict the future too much, I just kind of went with the standardized, right? I figured, we got a little bit of room to go either way, so. Yeah, so is there any questions or any, besides that? Yes.
On the missions for, it says 1,200 for Alaska, is that specifically going to Sitka or?
That's,
The Diocese of Alaska, at the last All-American 3 years ago, they said they're not able to pay their priests.
Yeah.
And so they asked if parishes could put something in their budgets to help, send to Alaska so they can pay priests. And so at the time, we were sponsoring Father Christopher and Jennifer, Sister Jennifer, and because they had been in South Korea, and that was ending. So we said, let's just shift it over and start sending it to Alaska. So that's what we did.
So it's for all the priests there?
Yeah, it's not specifically for any priest or any particular parish. It's for the help with the diocese itself.
I went with you to that All-American Council, and I remember that, and Bishop Alexei of Alaska made an appeal to start a fund up there, and if I remember right, probably Keycon pledged $10,000 a year over 3 years or something to go toward it, so I know at one point they got over $100,000 or something pledged in this fund. And I think that's where that money goes to help, so that they can help them pay their priests, especially the ones that are out in poor, remote areas.
We were in Sitka, and one of the main, obviously, priest expense, but one of the main things that we saw from Father Herman was these churches are ancient, they're old, and there's a lot of expense in upkeep and repair. And so there is a real need for outside support, because populations aren't great. I mean, but they're supporting the church. And so that's something to keep in mind, like you're saying, not only for priest salaries, but just the upkeep of the churches themselves.
I think with the All-American, they wanted to emphasize taking care of the priests.
Right.
And I mean, that they have other expenses, but maybe they got to free up some of their budget to take care of things that really need to be taken care of. And of course, Jay's been on a couple of mission trips going up to Alaska to where they are working on those buildings that need to have repairs and that sort of thing. So they try, not every year, but almost every year, they try to take a group to Alaska to do work up there, because the weather is so hard on there.
John, I have a question on the second page of lots of it. Is this the
That, for the property, there's the addresses that I found that we have, and according to the county's website, last I checked, the assessed value, right? And so I'm sure that's not, the government is, I doubt that's correct, but, we don't pay taxes, so it doesn't really affect us, but that's the assessed value for when people pay taxes. I just grabbed those numbers. Kind of show what we have, right?
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion has been approved.
Who seconded?
There's the motion and the second. Is there any discussion before we do the vote? Not? All in favor? Any abstentions? All right, so election of officers is I guess the next.
Oh, pick me.
You're hired, Deacon. You're re-upped. And we have 2 positions that are gonna be available. We have, 2 positions, and we'll vote on what those are.
Yeah, the way we do the parish council is there's the president, the vice president, the secretary, and the treasurer. And when I first came here, you voted for a position, kind of thing, whatever. That doesn't work. Someone got voted as a treasurer, they couldn't balance a checkbook, so try to do the books for the church. So we decided that we would elect the people to the parish council, and then the next meeting that we have, we'll discuss who's going to hold what position. And so, and each year it can change, like someone could have been the vice president and they became the secretary or whatever. So we try to use the skills that the people have. And my experience is there are certain things that give me energy, certain things that just drain the life out of me. So, you know, I don't want to drain the life out of someone. So the president, it's his job to have the agenda and go through the agenda, lead the meeting, sort of thing. And if the bishop comes, he just, you know, says, "I'm the president of the council here, and here's some bread and some salt, and thank you for coming, and we really appreciate your service to our parish," etc. The vice president collects the money and then keeps track of what was given, so that at the end of the year, Cayenne's been doing that for a few years, at the end of the year, she can produce a report that says, you gave X number of dollars this last year, so if you're doing long form on your taxes, you can, you know, put that on there, etc. The secretary, that's what Shirley's doing over here, takes notes, and then is patient whenever someone says, well, this is misspelled, or that sort of thing, whatever. So you got to be patient with critics. And then the treasurer, it's his job to make sure checks are written to the various, like myself, or to the retirement fund, although I will not benefit from that, but we are required to make expenditures to the retirement fund and to insurance companies and everybody else that we, you know, give money to, or reimbursements for people who are purchasing goods outside of Amazon, or being reimbursed for trips and that kind of stuff, or whatever. So, and then he does, he's written a program that, or not written, I guess, let AI help him.
Yeah, I still love it.
Yeah, okay, he still takes credit for writing it. But, so anyways, he has an AI program that will help ease getting numbers into the system or whatever for reporting, and then to produce the reports when the time comes. So
for him and the vice president.
For everybody, yeah.
For everybody,
yeah.
That's really streamlined that process.
So we used to have a pretty good sized spreadsheet to help manage stuff like that, but it took, I mean, when I was doing it for 20 some years or whatever at St. John's, had a similar kind of spreadsheet, and it took about an hour and a half to get everything balanced and reports produced and all that kind of stuff once a month. And so Jeremy thinks that this new process or whatever is going to take a good chunk out of that.
Spreadsheet work, but it was a bear.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when Ben was being elected to the parish council, I said, I need someone who understands spreadsheets, because we have the spreadsheets that we do for the treasurer stuff. And if you don't understand spreadsheets, you're going to have a difficult time. So.
And Jeremy's program is much more user-friendly.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll kind of unite everything, tie the giving to the actual bank transactions, and balance everything out, and keep track of the separate funds and the dedicated giving and donations that are like, you know, how we keep track of things, like, you know, Cayenne donating the internet, but keep track, like, well, that's an operating expense, just because it's not coming out of our bank. You gotta kind of account for that for the future, just in case, you know, Cayenne up and leaves us. So, yeah, so I'm kind of keeping all that unified together. You know, it seems to be working out now. I've made a few programs like this, and it's for my other tasks, and it seems very efficient. I think it's going to work well, but time will tell. We're in the kind of beginning phases of it, and I'm sure Rufus will will give you some nice feedback here, so,
I tell you what, when I became treasurer after that, it was a nightmare.
yeah, it's not very fun, and
It took me a lot of time to enter the information, and then I gave it to the dashboards and so on. But then he took it way out, so
and so the idea is whoever comes after, it's not such a, I don't wanna call it a burden, it's a joy to do it, but, so whoever's after can have a,
It's a bit more appealing.
it's,
to
yes,
take on that.
yes, so, that's the idea anyway.
I can also attest to, as for the task that I did, as far as the donations and entering them, when I came on board, we used Access, which was intense. I switched it over last year to just a simple spreadsheet, which was easier. But now, with Jeremy's program, I've started this year in 2026. So just a few weeks, I've entered the donations into that, and it's going to be so much easier. And especially with, there's a little bit of work on the front end as far as like entering all the pledge forms and the people and the information pledge forms, but then just weekly, then the donations. That I wish I would have had that a long time ago. So it's going to be a lot easier going forward. I think. Thank you, Jeremy.
No, yeah, not gonna let it.
And also the treasurer, vice president, enters that information and then makes sure that we get the deposits to the banks. Sometimes if you have that position, you can't get the banks or whatever, I'm usually in town and I can take it to the bank, so I've done that several times. All right, so I had 2 people contact me, but we're willing to take more from the floor here. Meredith contacted me and said she would be willing to serve on the parish council, and Lucas contacted me and said he would be willing to serve on the parish council. I know some of the younger people in the parish council, excluding Shirley and I, so they were saying we need to have younger people, okay? And so Meredith qualifies for that.
Not you were opposed.
Well, I think Meredith, you were 20 when I came here, or something like that, so you're still,
I still want you in your role.
Yeah. So, if James or anybody that's younger than some of us or whatever, if you wanna put your name in the hat or whatever, you're more than welcome.
So what are you saying about Lucas?
Lucas is younger
I'm
than me.
trying to understand.
Lucas is younger than me, so.
You do, I just trying to
you gotta
understand.
have a balance, right?
I think that's true.
Well, for my 3 brothers, I'm quite young.
So are there any other people that are gonna throw their name in the hat for that?
If Melanie was here, she could nominate someone who's not here.
Yeah, I'm not nominated.
Apparently has been nominated people
Wait a
who
minute.
aren't here.
That's not his time here.
He's on his way.
Ben's younger.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
All right, so, if no one else is pitching their names in the hat, unless someone has an objection to having Meredith and Ruckus come on to the parish council, then, it'll be a done deal. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any abstentions or nays? All right. I thought that was gonna be more complicated than. Okay, so we have, old business, that's the next thing on here. And probably, if you go to new business on the old sheets, the very last sheet, that kind of becomes our old business, unless there's any things from the old business that didn't get done, or whatever. So, we can go down through here on the old business to see if there was anything that still wasn't done. I think everything that was on old business is, there wasn't anything left, if you will, over. Okay, So if you look at new business from last year, probably our old business this year will come from that.
I have old business, I guess, but it's more like our accomplishments from last year.
Okay.
So first off, we had, last few years, we've had really unprecedented growth. We've been really blessed to have a lot of new converts and catechumens, and attendance is growing, and we're hoping that that continues in 2026. As I mentioned earlier, we created a community outreach committee, and we're still in our fledgling stages with that, but hopefully we can continue to come up with ideas and ways to reach out to the community and help others, and to let people know we're here in the process. So it's kind of a double duty kind of idea. And if anybody has ideas for outreach or ministries or giving, please let us know, and we'd be happy to for any new ideas. Tara and Olivia, I think, started Sunday school this past year, which has been great. I know my girls enjoy it, and I'm hoping.
There's your new president.
You're all.
Oh, yeah. Welcome aboard.
You should have been here 5 minutes ago.
We installed our new security cameras, and update our from our old system. We're still kind of on the fence with whether that was a good update or not. We're going through a lot of batteries at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. It's nice because you can remote in from wherever you are and check on stuff. I installed televisions in the back and in the nursery for overflow, or if your kids are unruly and you need to take them down to the nursery, and Tara's been using the TV for videos for class, and then I've been using the TV in the back for announcements. I got a PowerPoint that plays on there. So I was hoping that would help with all those things. Our harvest party has continued to have success, and hopefully that continues to grow. We got the lights in the fellowship hall all retrofitted with LEDs instead of the halogen or the old whatever bulbs.
Old fluorescents.
Yeah, old fluorescents. So that's hopefully save us some money and last a little bit longer. As Jeremy mentioned, we got the security light installed in the back, which we needed really bad because you couldn't see anything out there, especially in the winter. It was kind of a hazard to walk. Jeremy helped upgrade our printer copier machine in the back in the office there with that big monstrosity.
Yeah, it's a donation from the county
And we're very thankful.
for nonprofits.
It's
So
big,
it's
but it's nice.
completely free to the church, so.
I've been using it.
And we've upgraded our office computer, or upgrading.
Yeah, I found that.
Okay. I was always nervous.
And our streaming camera, which was actually in 24 that we installed that, but it's had a few hiccups, but it seems to be working pretty well for the most part. And so far in 2025, Jeremy said we had 1,459 views for a total of 200 and almost 23 hours of watch time. So we have been reaching some people. And I know I've had people reach out on Sundays saying if there's an issue, saying they can't see it, or so people are wanting to watch, and they are watching. So we seem to always have at least 2 to 5 people for every service on there. So that was kind of my old business.
Eric,
Yeah.
you need people to follow the new page that
Oh,
you have created?
yeah,
Maybe
if
we
you
could do a
haven't-
Tutorial right now.
Yeah, if you haven't, well, follow our YouTube page, do that. You can subscribe and you'll get an alert every time there's a service or parish meeting. It'll pop up on your phone and say, hey, we've started a live stream. There are multiple Facebook pages. One's a group, that's the oldest one that's been there. But you have to get approval to get in. So I created another one that's just a page, so anybody can see it. It's more open to the public. So if you haven't clicked on there, I know I've kind of been beating a dead horse with that, but just to remind everyone again, and I try to post the announcements on there every week, and I try to post a link to the live stream. There's always a link to the YouTube page, but I try to send that actual link to the live stream each week. Yes, Deacon?
So between the two, between Father and Mr. President, Howard, do you want us, what communication do you want us to look at if we want to cancel a service like we had to last week?
You should be able to look at any of that stuff. Well, YouTube, you're just not going to have, there won't be a live
Not
stream.
YouTube, but Facebook or
But on
whichever.
Facebook, when we canceled last week, I put a notification on both spots. So I try to,
It's just gonna put something out there, but because
Yeah.
it has to be approved, I called Eric and said, I don't see it yet. And he said, oh, I just approved it, so it's now out there.
and then I copied your post and I put it on the Facebook page. So they're on both.
Just
I think Facebook is probably the simplest. I can probably try to put together a phone tree, but, my experience is it doesn't work very well.
And there's still, the most people are still in the Facebook group, so instead of just closing that down, for now, we have both. And so I try to put everything that goes on one, I try to copy it to the other. That way.
We put restrictions on our Facebook page maybe 2 years ago because we started getting some really nasty kinds of stuff being posted out there. So the boon is that we're not getting that pornography or anything else put out there. The bane is that it doesn't go out there until someone approves it. So if you put something out there and you say, I don't see it, then Eric's probably the best person to tell, and he can say, let it go.
And I know I think Elijah polices it as well.
Right, he's on there as well.
And there's 2 or 3 of us that can approve things. So anything, there's spam that pops up on there. People selling stuff or just random posts that I'll delete. But for the most part, everything's pretty up to date and how it should be.
Thank you, I just wanted to make sure this would, we can do that.
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah.
Well, question.
Yeah.
Now, the Facebook page. I was showing you guys what I saw today.
Okay.
Is Jenny still an administrator on that or not?
She on the group, Jenny trustee is still a administrator.
So we're not supposed to be looking at that one?
No, you can.
Is that what's a valid one to get information?
Both of them, the group and the page. You can be on whichever one you want. I just created the page because it's public, whereas the group you have to get approval to join it.
Okay,
Or
is that
anybody
on
can just.
YouTube or Facebook?
This is all Facebook,
All Facebook. Okay.
and there's links on both of them to get to YouTube.
Yeah,
I've pinned them to the top
YouTube,
so you can find them.
It's the Facebook one, and today I was rather upset with the comment on the Facebook one.
Okay.
And it was approved by Jimmy.
Okay.
And I just have a little bit of problem with it.
Okay.
And you guys, yeah.
We can
And
discuss it.
it must be, just somebody getting in that's not supposed to be getting in or something. I don't know. But I was quite upset over it today. And anyway, if you guys could help me check that out to get me on the right page for the Facebook one.
Sure.
Is the Facebook one correct on the top of the bulletin?
Um,
Because on the top of every bulletin, I have YouTube.
I love your
I have
emails
the
that
face,
has that.
I have the heading on the PDF. If that's not the correct one, could you please send it?
it should be.
Yeah,
Because I think I updated it when you sent it to me, but
And I'll go to your email.
I just
when
keep
you get it.
using the same template, so if it doesn't get updated, it's,
It just stays the same.
yeah, it's the same phone number forever until someone tells me different.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah.
I'll have to click
Thank
on
you,
it
I'll
and see.
ask for guidance.
Yeah, on the PDF of the book, and at the very top, it should have Facebook, the YouTube, the email, the website.
It's at least the group.
Okay.
So they're both should be fine. Though, like I said, we have technically two. I just wanted to make one public so if people are searching for us, they can find it and they can actually get into it and see information. Whereas the group have to be approved. So, but yeah, that one should be good. I think that's all for I have for last year, this past year. For next year, as I mentioned, we are hoping to continue the work of the Community Outreach Committee, and we've added additional funds, like Jeremy said. So hopefully we can expand on that. And besides Tara and Olivia teaching Sunday school and Deacon teaching our adult class, I think we're hoping to expand to some middle school, teenage kids.
All those areas rain downstairs.
So yeah, we'll see. But we've set aside funds for the classes to help with that expansion. And if you guys need materials, we've allocated finances for that. We are hoping to get a Polaroid camera, and Diane and Connor will hopefully head this up, and we're going to take pictures of all the families and members and make a wall or a scrapbook so that it's easier for everyone to get to know each other. Because I know there's a lot of new faces all the time, and I know me personally, I struggle to remember names and faces, and so to be able to go and see a wall of our church, I think it would help, hopefully, everyone get to know each other's name.
Why Polaroid?
Just because you can get that picture.
Because I can have one done at Walgreens within the hour. Costs
Okay.
about a quarter.
Well, whatever is easiest. I just figured if we kept a camera here, we could snap a picture, slap it on the wall. So, but we don't need to do that. What's that? We can do it. Or people can send in a photo.
Yeah.
And we can print it
It's
off.
just that we've all got cameras and it's just so easy to do it in drugstores.
So yeah, maybe we'll do one or the other, and I thought it would be fun to helpful and fun to have.
Maybe they're better than what they used to be. I had an old Polaroid that I hated
Right.
years ago. And the stuff on our cameras, our phones are so nice, but I don't know, maybe they're just good quality now.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. However we get the picture is fine by me. Jeremy mentioned we expanded the priest fund. I think we're going to discuss the creation of a future building fund, because we're kind of getting close to capacity here, and whether we build or buy something else, if that's something that we would want to do in the future. On top of that, though, we also have to think of our future priest fund, which is kind of more important, I think, than the building. Even if we have to stand in the back, we at least have a TV to watch on. But I don't know if that's something we want to discuss.
Well, what do you want to accomplish from your discussion?
I don't know what.
Maybe just information if nothing else.
Yeah. So I guess Jeremy and I went to the bank, and we had a meeting to see what it would take to get a loan, and we could. Right now, I think we can swing one or the other. We can get a new priest, or we can get a loan for a building, which I don't think we're ready for a loan for a building yet, but I thought it was something we could start talking about. I don't know.
Eric,
Yeah.
as a third option,
Yep.
is there any way to expand this way to our existing building?
Yes. So that's what when I meant build, I was thinking of, well, I guess we could get a lot and build a new building, but I was more thinking of building out this way. And I know we've had ideas where we build the fellowship hall and move church into that until we have the funds to renovate this and attach it to the fellowship hall. And there's been multiple ideas, but I don't know. That's something maybe we can look into in 26 and decide what we want to do.
I think I said like 5 years ago that watching my mother's health deteriorate, 75 was probably the last year that she could do well. And so I'll be 74 in June. So if I retire at 75, then hopefully there's enough seminarians coming out of seminary to send to St. Thomas. If my health is still holding up, I don't have any objections of serving, longer if I'm capable and I think I can do the job and everybody else thinks that my job is acceptable or whatever. But I think realistically, we ought to be thinking about for a future priest. So that's why we started a fund about 5 years ago or whatever, putting $5,000 into it or whatever. I think they were upping it to $10,000 now. So some of what we have in our investment account is money that's set aside. Because I said, if you're gonna, whenever that time comes, you're gonna have to move someone here, help them get set up housing-wise, all that kind of stuff. So it's not just a matter of what's the month-per-month salary gonna be. There's gonna be other expenses. So
I think it's gonna be a lot more expensive than we think. So, but that's why the building thing isn't a huge concern, but I think it's something to get talking about also.
there's right now, St. Nicholas, Serbian Orthodox Church at 79th and Marsh Road. They are building a brand new temple. And when they looked at building a brand new temple like 10 years ago or something like that, and they built a big fellowship hall and have a very small sanctuary or whatever, nave. And but now they're building out the nave and sanctuary, and they'll connect it to their fellowship hall. But the general contractor, I think it is, I talked to him for maybe 30 minutes or whatever, just saying, we're like others getting forward and forward, and at some point we have to do something, So he said, well, if you want me to come up and, look at your situation and see whether, you need a new building or whether you could turn the sanctuary to the east where it's supposed to be and then make this and extend it out, for the nave and that sort of stuff. And you do that, then you gotta figure out, it's gotta be some sort of hallway or whatever coming in from the front over here, unless you close that off and say you're gonna have a different entrance that comes off the street and from the back or whatever. So anyways, they got my juices flowing as far as what are the options, is it a $200, $300, $400, $500,000 option or whatever? And currently, I've been here for 20 some years, and we've not had any outlay as far as a mortgage or that sort of thing. It was all paid off before I got here, and so we're kind of spoiled from the standpoint of we don't have a mortgage, and we say, oh, our mortgage is going to increase.
We need some loans to pay off people.
So anyways, I think we ought to at least see what those costs are going to be, knowing that if you postpone it a year or two, the costs are going to go up. Because we had, what's her name? What's the gal's name that came here?
Deborah.
Deborah, yeah. Grace. She came here, and at the time, we were looking at what can we do as far as fellowship space, because it's limited. And so basically she drew something up to take the where the kitchen is and expand it out, and then where the bathroom is currently, having a couple of bathrooms that would be on the west wall there, or whatever. And,
It would actually, I think it's then gone out into the yard, and where the wall is now would be the door into the new restrooms, like a handicap accessible.
it was gonna be, I mean, I think at the time to do the work, and then that was gonna raise the roof back there in the back or whatever, and maybe put an office upstairs or something, I forget. Anyway, she drew up plans for us, and, it was gonna cost about $135,000, $40,000, if my memory serves me. But that's been, I don't know, 10 years ago, so that would be double at least to do that. And now, we still need more fellowship hall space, but we're getting to the point where we're getting pretty full here.
It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. I mean, I don't mind the problem, it's just, you know, at some point people will say, I don't wanna go there and have to stand the whole time, although that's what we're supposed to do.
It'd be nice to have our own weddings here too.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's nothing that says that you can't do it in phases.
Right.
And, you know, you start off with what's phase one, what's phase two, and what's your, you know, and what's your ultimate goal. And by doing that, then you'll be able to eat the elephant one bite at a time instead of all of them. And the phases seem to help. Now, we don't care how long the phase is. If the phase is 10 years, it's 10 years. But at least we're doing something instead of kicking the can down the road.
You might have to buy 2 more houses to have parking.
We missed out on that corner house. It was up and gone real quick.
Not for that price.
Yeah, it was more than
You'd have to work, then everything else that you had would be
Well,
gone.
the blue house with the horrible roof, I mean, it's been empty for 3 or 4 months, but
It's not for sale.
not for
Well,
sale.
they rent that out, so we gotta find the owner and buy it.
Well, I mean, nobody's lived there. Somebody got up a boat. and
Yeah.
sit
I
down
saw
there.
that, it's been there a while.
It's been there for.
Once we've acquired the whole block, we can start working our cathedral.
Well, that would be half the block
Well, we need
from the
the
alley to
parking.
the street.
Yeah.
You know, it would be good for parking.
That's what I was thinking, like, if we,
Make this beautiful big church.
Can we just try
Yeah,
the
sure,
church
just
before
take
we
the
get
road
to
too.
cathedral, please? Oh, and if it's a cathedral, you get to serve every higher up.
Perfect.
I just think if we're gonna expand and we think we're going that way, we have no parking then. You know what I mean?
We have a whole parking lot in the back that we just have to put gravel down.
I mean, that grassy lot.
Yeah.
Neighbors, we have to petition the neighbors
They
to
will be
make sure
thrilled.
that, you know, they'd be okay with it. And right now, they like it being a green space, but
And the guy who does donuts would have more space to do it.
he's not been doing it for a long time.
He stopped the donuts and now he just leaves his car out there. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna build a church in the next 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, but it's more to get the discussion started and looking at the information we need and kind of, you know, the idea of what we want and how we'll do it. So that was the idea of bringing it up. But, and then real quick, that was pretty much all I had there. Building repair needs, that long list, I'll buzz through real quick, of stuff for this year that, obviously we're not gonna be able to fix all this stuff, but the really big stuff that needs fixed, the roof still needs replaced. Dad and I were up there, we had a lift and went up and it's a lot worse than I thought. It's still holding water, I think, but that's gonna need done sooner than later. The retaining wall out front really needs replaced. That's crumbling onto the sidewalk, so that's a big one. I did talk with the city about getting the sidewalks replaced, and they'll actually pay for McCann to replace that, and we would just be on the hook for in front here on Taylor. The windows back in the fellowship hall still need to be repaired, they're leaking. The handicap ramp needs stained and repaired. The front steps are crumbling. That's been I've gotten 3 people to come out and take a look at that and the sidewalk and the retaining wall, and no one's called me back. I've called them 5 times a piece. And I have more people I can try. I'm gonna do that. We've discussed turning that empty lot in the back into overflow parking, because we're getting pretty full on parking. So I don't know if we wanna just keep parking on grass or put down gravel. That's something we could do. Re-tiling the drop ceiling in the fellowship hall, just so everything matches. That's a project. Finishing off the narthex, there's still a few things there. Finishing the downstairs bathrooms, which includes the flooring and the stairs. I would love to keep that fellowship hall flooring going down there. And new carpet in here. I think this one's 1 or 2 years old. I can't remember. Like 30 years old, maybe.
We came here in 97, so it's at least maybe 2000, 2001, because the Alexanders started this time.
Yeah.
But those are the big things. So I don't know what
Can we schedule a work day?
And we need to start hopefully being a little more consistent on our work days, whether it's once a month or bi-monthly. But
We certainly have the one on, was it Saturday, the cleanup for the floor. It's the week before Lazarus Day.
Okay.
So that's when we have the first
part of April.
So you have that scheduled
Okay.
to do cleanup.
We can schedule, we'll do a schedule with it or whatever, and then,
Do whatever you want, but that's at least something.
I think we'll just make one up and put it in the bulletin and then start announcing it. But even if we're just cleaning and not fixing anything, place needs clean.
March 20th is the one in the hospice station.
March 20th, okay. That's all I got. I went as quick as I could.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other new business?
I have just a suggestion, or it's still not formulated in my mind, but keeping the records on all the baptisms and chrismations and just anything that is, of the people. We try to keep it up. Father and I have tried, and he does have some things that he's got in there, but he has to give an account once a year for everybody he baptized or whatever happened in our church. And I think it would be nice if we could have somebody who that was their focus as a gift to the church, to also issue baptism certificates and things like that, because now we're only giving them out when people say, could I have one for this person or something, but I don't know, it just seems like and sometimes we're digging through my photos to figure out who we baptized this past year. So I don't know, it'd be really nice if somebody that was good with computers could set something up, and I have either pictures that could be inserted into it, it'd be kind of neat to have a good record of that.
I think to add to that, I think it would be good if we kept like the council minutes, the all parish meeting minutes, like if everything could be electronic, stored somewhere all together.
Right.
You could add in the treasurer's report, or but some sort of a cloud storage where all of this.
That's what I was gonna say. Also, like, just to be able to see the minutes from the church, as not a part of the church council, but to see what are you discussing, and, sometimes I had suggested this, and it is up there, like, the work that we need to do is up on the whiteboard, so you might look at it and go, oh, you know what, we've got extra this year, we're gonna donate the new carpet, like, what Alexander's did, but if we don't know that those are the projects that the church is looking into, then we're not likely to. I think for ease, it would be nice to see the minutes to say, what are we thinking about what's going on at the council? Because maybe I have a talent in one of the areas you're looking at, or
Maybe it's something we put in the bulletin every week.
Yeah, or we could put it on the board, like other places have, like the library, last month's bulletin, it's in like a slip case on the bulletin board, so anyone who comes in can look at it.
And we could put the previous, that month's meeting minutes.
Or in our
Because, like,
private,
you know,
private
send
group
out-
on Facebook or whatever, something like that.
I think electronic is essential though, because if you're wanting to go back and look
For
at some
record
of those
keeping,
records.
For records, but
Yes.
like just, because I have people's emails bounced back all the time because their inbox is full. So I can only send out so much PDF.
Which is unusual, though.
I mean,
I that's the PDF, so like, it'd be nice to have like something for posterity for the record, but if you want people to access it, like if you post it as a PDF to Facebook. So,
We have a 3-ring binder,
yeah.
and we put those things in, but it's not
You know,
easily accessible.
maybe
Jerry
those could be,
bought Office 365, which gives you so
Yeah,
many-
it's just takes somebody to corral or wrangle and do this, because we actually have dedicated cloud storage now.
Right.
You know,
So just
Father
upload and
has
send the link.
You know, we have OneDrive and cloud storage. A lot of the documents that I deal with, I put in Google or Google Drive to kind of keep a central repository. But somebody just takes a single person that will have a drive to kind of unify that and keep it updated. But we have the tools. We just need the people and the labor. So that is definitely doable and something that probably would be a good idea.
And we're supposed to have 3-ring binders in there with the meeting minutes from every year, but I think we stopped doing that in like 2013, I think is the only binder that's out, that's in there, so we need to catch up with that too.
The only thing I still recommend keeping in hard old baptismal certificates because this can last forever.
Yeah.
We have somebody here that does this for a living.
The problem is you go to Facebook, and lock yourself into the proprietary format and proprietary access. If they change their mind, let's say, church groups aren't great anymore, they're locked out, or you say, Google is probably the safest, because Google is storage,
OneDrive.
getting, scannability, right? You stick PDF up there, you wait a couple hours, you can search on the text, those slides, everything. Right, and I think Google's probably, OneDrive's nice, Microsoft shops, but Google, it's the web-based, anyone could access it. You know, I mean, that would be, because you want to do 2 things, well, 3 things. You want it accessible, you want it backed up so you'll never lose it, right? And you want it scannable. So once you stick the PDF up there, it's like, well, didn't you mention this 2 years ago? I don't know. Search, boom, there it is.
Sounds like you're on the fast track to becoming a member.
Careful what you say when he's
Yes, I will.
Can you make your own baptism?
Maybe recognize the one thing that we can
I haven't been to the bulletin yet, but on Holy Saturday, we plan on christening, baptizing, Michael.
Good points, good ideas, and it's something we probably should start focusing on, and it would be a good benefit.
And I'd be willing to help find the connections, the things that need to go into it. Because we've got this little book that Father Paul left, but it's all handwritten and it stops at a certain point. And some of the time we remember to get it in there, but a lot of times it's not been added. And he's got lists that he's had to, he has a spreadsheet, but as far as just something that's easy to flip through and everybody who needs to see it can find it, or the church can have it so that it's very accessible. Because 30 years from now, somebody can say they need that certificate. You know? And even like when somebody becomes a new priest, they have to have their baptism certificate and their wife's baptism certificate. I don't know if there's all kinds of stuff that it could just come in handy. And we don't want to be saying, we don't know where that information is. I don't think that's very good stewardship.
No, I agree, and I'm grateful that my old church for 30 years ago had my certificate, so I can.
It can be done. You just need
I
to do
didn't
it.
have it on me, so I'm grateful they kept that like that. So that is a good point.
Like the old country, they had those thick books, so you actually get the right bottom. It probably take a
Right.
Well, I could help with if we wanted a paper one, just lists all the baptisms, all the funerals, all the marriages that we could keep in there. I will work on it. That's my kids are running
Do we want anything else?
just one thing, and I may be completely off, but, after the Christmas gathering that we had at Father's and Tishka's this year, it was really small, but we did so much talking and conversing, and when we left there, I thought, that's something that is missing in our church, just getting together for something fun and getting to know the people. I got to know Nancy and Mike better, you know, and for, I don't know how often, but we have the harvest party and we have the adult Christmas party.
And the Pascha party thing, whatever.
Yeah, that. But maybe we need some more.
So after every other month work day, we finish with, party.
Well, we talked about doing a casino out back. That was like just.
I'm good at shuffling.
No, we did have a discussion in one of our meetings about having I thought it was after Vespers, having like a game night slash movie slash sports on the, you know, we have the TV back there so we can put something on and we can play games and, you know, order pizza or.
I just think it would make it feel more connected
Right.
as a church and as friends.
And we can do it once a month or something.
Or even every other month or something.
Yeah.
You know.
I would think, yeah.
Get your stuff and go home.
I think that would be a good thing to do. So I'd rather someone else organize it than me, but.
Are you volunteering to organize?
No.
That's the problem. I got the ideas, but
no.
I nominate Mom to organize this.
First one,
You can be a
kick it off.
subset of the outreach committee that you're now on. This is how we work around here. Thanks for volunteering.
You got the idea? You're in.
Shirley and I can do it.
Oh boy, she's.
It does sound like a good idea.
First Saturday of every month or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Then you know.
If you can make it, you can make it. Come next month. Anything else?
Yeah, fine.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I would motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
You motion, Davis.
All right, meeting is adjourned.
Who seconded?
I'll say a prayer and then we'll
First.
leave.
Who? Deacon.
Alright. Father in heaven, thank you for all the lovely people here in St. Thomas and for this group that we met and discussed things this day. May you continue, Lord, to open doors, close doors, whatever is necessary so that we can be a light in this world that we live in and hopefully be good stewards of all things that you have given to us. And continue to bless St. Thomas and all of its members. In the name of the Father, Son,